A mafia godfather finds out that his bookkeeper, Guido, has cheated him out of $10 million. His bookkeeper is deaf. That was the reason he got the job in the first place. It was assumed that Guido would hear nothing, so he would never have to testify in court. When the godfather goes to confront Guido about his missing $10 million, he takes along his lawyer who knows sign language. The godfather tells the lawyer, "Ask him where the money is." The lawyer, using sign language, asks Guido, "Where's the money?" Guido signs back, "I don't know what you are talking about." The lawyer tells the godfather, he says he doesn't know what you're talking about. The godfather pulls out a pistol, puts it to Guido's head and says, "Ask him again or I'll kill him." The lawyer signs to Guido, "He'll kill you if you don't tell him." Guido trembles and signs, "Okay, you win. The money is in a brown briefcase, buried behind the shed at my cousin Bruno's house." The godfather asks the lawyer, "What did he say?" The lawyer replies, "He says you don't have the balls to pull the trigger." A husband and wife were having dinner at a fine restaurant when an absolutely stunning young woman comes over to their table, gives the husband a big kiss, tells him she'll see him later, and walks away. His wife glares at him and says, "Who was that?" "Oh," replies the husband, "that was my mistress." The wife says, "That's it. I want a divorce." "I understand," replies her husband, "but remember, if you get a divorce, there will be no more shopping trips to Paris, no wintering in the Caribbean, no Lexus in the garage, and no more country club. But the decision is yours." Just then, the wife notices a mutual friend entering the restaurant with a gorgeous woman on his arm. "Who's that woman with Jim?" she asks. "That's his mistress," replies her husband. "Oh," says the wife, "ours is prettier." A blonde wanting to earn extra money decided to do odd jobs for her wealthy neighbors. At the first house, the owner said, "Well, you can paint my porch. How much will you charge?" $50, she replies. The man agrees and gives her the paint and brushes and goes back in the house. The man's wife overheard their conversation and asked him if she had realized that the porch goes all around the house. She should. She was standing on it. A short time later, the blonde came to the door to collect her money. "You've finished already?" the man asked. "Yeah, and I had paint left over, so I gave 2 coats." Impressed, the man reaches for the money. "And by the way," the blonde added, "it's not a porch, it's a Lexus." A police officer stopped a car on the highway and went up to the driver. He saw the man and said, "You've just won $1,000 for wearing a seatbelt. What are you going to do with your prize money?" The man thought and said back, "Maybe go to the driving school and get my license." His wife told the cop, "Don't listen to him. He's a smart-ass when he's drunk." All of this talking made a passenger in the back of the car wake up, and he blurted out, "I knew we wouldn't get far in this stolen car. Why didn't you change the number plate?" A knock emerged from the trunk of the car, and the person in the trunk said, "Are we at the border yet?" A judge asks a defendant to please stand. "You are charged with murdering a garbage man with a chainsaw." From the back of the courtroom, a man shouts, "You lying bastard!" "Silence in the court!" The judge turns to the defendant again and says, "You are also charged with killing a paperboy with a shovel." "You tightwad!" blurts the spectator. "Quiet!" yelled the judge. "You are also charged with killing a mailman with an electric drill." "You cheap son of a—" The spectator starts to shout. The judge thunders back, "I will hold you in contempt. What is the reason for your outbursts? I've lived next to that lying bastard for 10 years now, but do you think he ever had a tool when I needed to borrow one?" 2 deaf people get married. During the first week of marriage, they find that they are unable to communicate in the bedroom when they turn off the lights after several nights of fumbling around and misunderstanding, the wife proposes a solution. "Honey," she signs, "why don't we agree on some simple signals? For instance, at night, if you want to have love making with me, reach over and squeeze my left melon one time. If you don't want to have love making, reach over and squeeze my right melon one time." The husband thinks this is a great idea and signs back to his wife. "Great idea. Now if you want to have love making with me, reach over and pull on my weapon one time. And if you don't want to love making, reach over and pull on my weapon 50 times. A blonde got caught in a blizzard. It was snowing heavily and blowing to the point that visibility was almost zero when the little blonde got off work. She made her way to her car and wondered how she was going to make it home. She sat in her car while it warmed up and thought about her situation. She finally remembered her dad's advice that if she got caught in a blizzard, she should wait for a snowplow to come by and follow it. That way, she would not get stuck in the snowdrift. This made her feel much better, and sure enough, in a little while, a snowplow went by and she started to follow it. As she followed the snowplow, she was feeling very smug as they continued, and she was not having any problem with the blizzard conditions. After quite some time had passed, she was somewhat surprised when the snowplow stopped and the driver got out and came back to her car and signaled for her to roll down her window. The snowplow driver wanted to know if she was all right, as she had been following him for a long time. She said that she was fine and told him of her dad's advice to follow a snowplow when caught in a blizzard. The driver replied that it was okay with him and she could continue following if she wanted, but he was done with the Walmart parking lot and was going over to the Kmart next. There are 3 women. One is dating, one is engaged, and one is married. They decide to get kinky with their men and really pull out all the stops to make it extra special. The woman who is dating says, "Okay, so I bought black leather, red lipstick, fishnet stockings, and really got crazy. He loved it so much, he thinks he's in love." The woman who is engaged says, "I showed up to his work after hours wearing only a red coat. Let's just say he wants to move the wedding date up." The woman who is married says, "Okay, I really went all out. I got a babysitter for the kids and bought a black mask and a whip. My husband gets home, goes straight to the fridge, and grabs a beer." My friends, if you want to watch other funny jokes, subscribe to the channel.